I'm Steve, Woodworking Masterclass, and I'm happy to be able to share some tips and techniques with you on Australian Wood Review's e-magazine. The other day I had a phone call from somebody and they wanted to know how to ebonize some timber. Now, ebonizing has been something that's been going on for hundreds of years, and even now, because the cost of ebony seems so high, it's more relevant than ever. So here's how you ebonize timber. It's quite simple and requires a few ingredients, and I've been up to the pantry and raided it and come up with some white vinegar, ordinary home brand stuff, nothing special. Some tea, you can use tea bags, but I've just got loose grain tea in there. And didn't get this from the pantry, but some steel wool. I use the real fine stuff, so I think it's, 4/0 steel wool. Couple of jars, bit of water, and away we go. This is how it's done. First of all, the reason I use tea is because in many cases some timber has a low tannin level and it won't react with the vinegar solution that we're going to make up, so you won't get an ebonizing effect, or you get a very pale one. If you put tea in water, you can mix it with boiling water if you like, and now I'm going to leave this to sit for a few days, and eventually the colour and the tannin that's in the tea will leach out. So we'll just mix that up, leave that one there, and then for the actual ebonizing solution, take the vinegar, pour in as much as you like. Also good if you've got some fish and chips handy, whack a bit on your fish and chips. Now, get a portion of steel wool, put it in with the vinegar, so you might use a little bit more. But the finer the steel wool, the more easily it'll melt or dissolve. Okay, that's it. Now we'll watch those over the next few days, and you'll see this one start to go a dark brown, and this one will also go a dirty brown. Well, it's day 2 of the fermenting process, and as you can see, the tea has gone nice and black, and there's starting to be bubbles formed on the steel wool. But if you're like me and get a little bit impatient and want things to happen a bit quicker, here's a tip you can use. All you need is a piece of paper and an old bit of rag. Now, old bit of rag down, piece of paper on top, and then you'll find that this nearly falls a bit. Squeeze a lot of the vinegar out, put it on the paper. Now what that's going to do is it's now going to oxidise. The vinegar has totally wet the steel, and with the oxygen in the air it'll start to rust. When it starts to rust it'll break down, it's almost in powder form, and then it dissolves and dilutes a lot quicker. So we'll see how we go in day 3. Well, it's day 3 of our ebonizing solution, and yesterday we took the steel wool out and let it oxidise, so when I start to crumble it back into the vinegar it'll dissolve a lot quicker. We'll give the tea another bit of a swirl and it'll get darker to increase the tannin content. As you can see, all the vinegar is soaked into the rag, so we can put that to one side, and we're just left with, let's move these out of the way, the steel wool, and if I touch that it just disintegrates under my finger. So what we'll do now, take the top off the vinegar, peel the steel wool off, and if you can see what I'm doing, it just crushes down almost into nothing. Put the top on that, give it a bit of a shake, and you can see now the steel wool's really started to dissolve. Give the tea another bit of a shake. Well, I've had these bottles sitting here for about a week now, and as you can tell in a minute, nearly all the steel wool has melted, and also the tea. The tea's starting to get a bit of mould on the top of it, but that really doesn't matter. In fact, the tea you could make up when you're going to do ebonizing. You don't have to do it beforehand. But I thought I'd share the whole process with you anyway. Okay, so now we have to filter it out. All I use is just a coffee filter you can buy at the supermarkets. And I was going to get a funnel, and I couldn't find one, so I thought, oh well, a soft drink bottle will do. I'll just cut that about there, all the way around. Then you can throw it away anyway when you finish, because that's what you got out in the rubbish in the first place. Take the label off, you don't need that. Bob was sitting there looking all worried at me. Alright, so another jar, coffee filter, into the jar. This is a solution of vinegar and steel wool. And we just tip it into the filter. Just let it filter through. You don't really even have to do this if you don't want to, but it does get rid of any residue that the steel leaves in there and gives you a much cleaner ebonizing. Oh, it stinks as well. Okay, and then pop that in the bin. I don't know if you can see that, but now I've got a very reddish, clear liquid. And that primarily is your ebonizing solution. What I've got here with the tea, which will also filter out, coffee filter, soft drink funnel, pop it in there, take the top off the tea. It looks disgusting. And then what I've done, I've cut up a couple of pieces of maple, Queensland maple, and a piece of myall. Now I know myall has big heavy tannin in it, so it'll darken quite nicely. Maple I don't think has much tannin in it. As you can see, I've got 2 sticks of maple, one I've marked tea, and I've just put that into the cold tea. We'll leave it there for a couple of hours, and then I'll put the myall, the untreated maple, and the maple that's been in the tea in the ebonizing solution, and we'll leave it overnight and see how it goes in the morning. Okay, now let's do some ebonizing. Has got the tea on it, it's Queensland maple. This is Queensland maple that hasn't had anything on it. And this is myall from Western New South Wales. And what I'll do is put those into the solution. In goes the maple that's been in tea. This maple hasn't been in anything. And this is just myall. Well, I've left these in overnight, so we'll see what sort of results we get on the tea, the bland one, and the one that I know has tannin in it. This is a plain maple, and that surprises me. I didn't think we'd have that much of a reaction. But that has gone quite dark. Now, the one that we soaked in the tea beforehand has gone much darker. And then the myall has gone really black. So there you go. That's how you ebonize. Very simple, very inexpensive, but very, very effective. I hope you give it a try soon, and by all means, drop me an email at steve@woodworkingmasterclass.com and show me your results. If there's anything else you'd like to know, if I can help, also drop me an email, and I'll see if I can put something together to help fix any questions or problems you may have. In the meantime, this is Steve pulling the shed door down for another day and saying, remember to keep it sharp, but more importantly, keep it safe. Bye for now.